Flintlock Wood. Flintlock Wood.
Just a second.
Hey. How y'all doing? Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I know, it has been a minute since I have posted, and it has been a longer minute since I have posted a sit-down video. I missed you guys. How are you doing? Let's catch up. As you can tell by the title, this week's video is going to be about my gap year experience. My gap year is coming to an end. I'm going to be going back to school in August, and I'm going to be talking about what I've been up to, what I'm doing next, and all of the things that I've learned this past year. Before we get onto the video, make sure to like and subscribe, comment down below what videos you want to see next, turn on post notifications so that you see whenever I do post, and follow me on social media. Links will be in the description box down below. That's it for now, guys, so let's just get on to the video. Like I said, I know it has been a minute since I have posted, and it's been actually almost a year since I posted my last sit-down video, which I think was my truth about life after college video. I posted that July 3rd of 2023, and it is June 22nd of 2024. So almost a whole year. Life has just been lifing. This past year has been a little difficult. For your boy. For those who do not know who I am, my name is Josh Dennis. Welcome to my channel. And in May of 2023, I graduated from Stetson University with my Bachelor's of Arts, specifically in theater arts. And I also minored in education. And in August of 2024, I will be returning back to Stetson University to pursue my master's degree in business administration with a concentration in data analytics. Say that 3 times fast. The choice to go back to school is actually one I didn't think I was gonna make so soon. I really thought like I wasn't actually gonna go to grad school at all. When I was teaching this past year, I realized like this is not something I can do for 30 years. Like I need to go study something else. I don't regret anything I did in college. Obviously there's some things I would change. I just wish I would have at the very least double majored in theater, but also something that would prove to be a little bit more useful more quickly than theater. With theater, like you have to audition and you have to go out and put yourself out there, and it's just like a very fickle career to get into. I'm not upset or like regretting studying theater at all. That's something I've always loved, but I wish I would have like just paired it with something a little bit more concrete, you know? The decision to study business was something I always thought about. Like I've always been really interested in marketing. Like I love everything about marketing. I love making videos for different organizations. I love studying data analytics, which is why that's my concentration. And I remember one day, like I was sitting at my desk in my classroom and I was like, Josh, you cannot be a teacher for 30 years. You know for a fact this is not what you are meant to do. And so I was like trying to think about other careers that I felt like didn't give me such a headache. Obviously theater is my first love, but it's not a very concrete career like I was saying earlier. Like unless you have like a financial, you know, support system under you, like it's really kind of hard to get into. And so I was like, just what is a career that I like that I've never been upset to do? And I thought about marketing. Like I did so much marketing work when I was getting my bachelor's degree. I worked in my school's marketing department. You know, like I ran multiple social media accounts for different organizations I was in, and I was like, that's always been something I love. Now, the decision to go back to Stetson specifically came from me really needing familiarity and really needing a solid foundation. This past year has really been very rocky for me for a multitude of reasons. Actually, the moment I graduated, things just kind of like got a little crazy. And so I was like, I really want to be back at Stetson because it's a school I know. I know I had a great time while I was getting my first degree. I know for a fact like I'll have a great time getting my second degree, and I was like, let's do it. Let's apply and let's be a double hatter. And so I applied back in, I want to say November, and then I got the decision that I was able to come back in December, and I was just like, all right, we're doing this. Back with the hats, round 2, baby. So that's a little bit about what I'm doing next. Now let's talk about what I've been doing this past year. Way back when I graduated in May 2023, I went back to my summer job, which is working for Varsity Spirit, specifically for Universal Cheerleaders Association. Tongue twister. You know, that was just like my summer job, but I was like, I'm really nervous because I don't have a job immediately lined up yet. I interviewed to be a teacher and a cheerleading coach before I graduated, but I didn't get the decision until maybe that next week after I graduated. I just had such a huge relief because I'm like, I don't have to worry about money. Like I have a full-time job essentially like right out of college. Y'all, if the lighting starts changing, it's pouring raining right now, so don't mind that. So I go through the rest of the summer doing UCA, and then I start teaching and coaching in August. Now, right off the bat, I was feeling very iffy about this job. There's just a lot of issues in education right now, and you see it all the time, like so many teachers leaving and, us having a teacher shortage right now, but you really don't understand it until you experience why that is. And I can make a whole separate video about my teaching experience. The school I worked at was a Title I school, and so obviously with Title I schools, you're gonna have a lot of students who are just not like into school. I was teaching 9th grade English at that. Like that's probably the second to math as the worst subject you could teach as a first year teacher. I had so many students who just did not care, but then would always complain that they hated school because it was boring. But I'm like, you're sitting in 3 remedial English classes because you don't pay attention to this one. So maybe if you just tried hard, it wouldn't be boring. Anyway, the biggest issue for me was the fact that I felt like I just did not have any support from my administration at all. If I'm trying to discipline a student, you should be backing me up. I should be able to discipline my team how I see fit. I should be able to take command of my classroom how I see fit without you being like, let's just give them a break. Let it slide. What? Because now you're teaching them that all they have to do is run to you, complain, and they get whatever they want. You hired me to do a job, but you continue to try and take my authority away from said job. Now, here comes November 2023. When we went on... When we went on Thanksgiving break, I made a particular video on TikTok about why I felt like teachers were leaving education. I am a first-year high school English teacher. This is definitely going to be my first and last year teaching. This video reached numbers that I had never reached on TikTok before. I think I was like at maybe like 8,000, 9,000 followers, maybe like 10. This video shot me up to well over 21,000 followers. The video got over 600,000 likes, 4.2 million views. Every day I'm getting comments after comments after comments of teachers, 30-year vet teachers being like, oh my God, I agree. Like, thank God somebody said it. It was this whole big thing. Then we get on winter break. And so winter break, I go see my family. For New Year's, I went to New York City, and then we come back. Now, when we come back is where things start getting a little weird. The one thing I noticed is that my principal was definitely acting different. Before I would go to school and she'd be like, oh my God, hi, Mr. Dennis, like, good morning, yada, yada, yada. When we come back from break, she's like,
hello, Mr. Dennis. Good morning.
I'm pretty sure in the back of my head, like, it had something to do with the video, but it was confirmed when one of my students in my 7th period class comes up to me and he's like, Mr. Dennis, I'm very sad. Like, I'm really upset. And I'm like, why? He's like, one of my teachers was talking about your TikTok video and she was really mad at it. And so 2 weeks go by, everything's like relatively normal. My life as a teacher is actually getting a little bit better because the kids are starting to like really start to pay attention. January 23rd or 24th comes out. That whole day was just a wild day. Like, the pipes in my building burst. Somebody had brought something to, like, I think like weed to school or something, and the cops were there. It was just, that whole day was just a mess. We were on lockdown. Like, it was crazy. It was a crazy day. And I end up getting called into the principal's office. In the back of my head, I'm like, you're about to get fired. That's exactly what happened. I walk into the principal's office and she's like, I've decided to terminate your teaching contracts and terminate your coaching contracts. And because you are a first year teacher, you are considered a probationary teacher, and we are not at liberty to tell you why. So I signed the form that she gave me, and I went to my classroom, collected the things that I cared to collect, and I left. And that was my last day working as a teacher. I wasn't too upset about it because, like I said, I was kind of expecting it. Not because I felt like I was doing something wrong as a teacher. I always tried my best as a teacher. I always tried my best as a coach. But after one of my students said what he said, I was like, this is just gonna end up probably like this. My intention was to finish out the year and then take a break from education. I felt bad for my kids because, like, I'd always make jokes like, oh, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. If I don't show up one day, you know why. But like, I didn't mean it, and they always knew I was joking. So the fact that like I legit went to school one day and then just did not show up ever again the next day probably really hurt their heart a little bit. Same thing with my girls, my team. I had a whole meeting on Zoom with them like, listen, I don't know why this happened. I was not given an answer, and I'm really upset because of all the work that we've been doing. We really were like held back by a lot of different reasons, most of which was me just getting hired late in the year. And so I knew for a fact that they were gonna have to like go through all of that all over again. And so that was just kind of the end of things. Interestingly enough, a flyer was put out on Instagram by Top Gun All-Stars. Before I got fired, like, I saw it and I was interested in trying out, but I was like, like, I feel like I'm not gonna have enough time with teaching and coaching and all this stuff. And so I ultimately decided to not do it, but then I get fired. And so the same week I got fired, I'm pretty sure that very next day was tryouts. And I was like, maybe this is a sign that I need to get back into cheerleading. I end up going to these tryouts and I make the team. At that point, I hadn't been on a cheer team in about a year and a half. I'm like, let's see how this goes. My time at Top Gun was an interesting one. Like, I had a lot of imposter syndrome because I'm like, I only did All-Star for 1 year and it was at a gym that nobody's ever really heard of. The fact that I've gone from that to now being in a cheerleading level that I've never competed in and at one of the best cheer gyms in the world. What is this about? God, what are you doing? What are you doing? It was hard. Like these past 3 months have been hard for a lot of reasons. The biggest one being financial, right? I'm not making teacher money anymore. The bills are piling up. The student loans are coming. I'm having to pay cheerleading tuition now, having to pay money to travel to all these places to do these cheer competitions. There was so many times where I was like, should I just quit? Like, I'm spending all this money on cheerleading, knowing I don't have an income anymore. Like, why am I doing this? And there came a big point where they were like taking a lot of people off the team because of not paying tuition and things like that. And they actually took me off for a moment. And then I was like, wait a minute, hold on. I can do it. I legit spent my entire tax refund on cheerleading tuition. When I did that, I was like, I felt relief because I'm like, okay, I can finish out the season now. I can go to Worlds and I can do all this stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, Josh, should you have really done that? Like, that was money you could have used to catch up on bills and like kind of set yourself up financially a little bit better. And you spent it all on cheerleading. I just kept telling myself, and this might just me being a little bit delulu, but I just kept telling myself, like, there's a reason why you got fired and then tryouts just happened to be the very next day. There's a reason why you made the team. There's a reason why you are financially able to pay this tuition bill. I'm still trying to think of what that reason might have been. I will let you know when I figure it out. But I ended up doing all the competitions, finishing out the season, going to Worlds for the first time, which was always a dream of mine. It was a tough experience. Like, it definitely challenged me in many different ways, but it was an experience that I don't regret. Like, I don't regret spending that tax refund on cheerleading tuition. I don't regret going to those competitions. Sure, could I have saved a lot of money by not doing it? Yeah. But at the same time, I didn't have a full-time job anymore. Like, what else was I doing? It gave me a reason to kind of keep going. When I tell you I was stressed out of my mind after getting fired, because once that last check came, baby, that was it. Like, I didn't know what else was gonna happen. Like I said, I think it gave me a reason to keep pushing and really get me to that finish line of the year, because then after the season was done, I boom, moved into UCA and back to doing camps again. And so yeah, like I went to Worlds. It was great. Now we're here doing UCA year 3. We're on the Golden Eras tour. And that's kind of been this past year. Moving on a little bit, I'm going to be talking about like just what I've learned. The biggest thing is I've learned what I really want in life. Like I said, like I was really struggling when I was a teacher, like just figuring out what I wanted to do as a career. What is going to make me money and not make me want to die. God really like put marketing and business into my heart and into my mind during that time. When I realized like I wanted to study business, everything just made sense. I was like, marketing has always been, ever since I was 16, I've been doing marketing internships. I've been doing a lot of social media work. I have such a skill in that area that it made total sense to go back and get another degree. I'm a little nervous about it. Well, I was, because I was like, I'm gonna have to get more student loans and like, I'm gonna be on my own this time because my mom unfortunately passed away last year. And so like, I don't have her to rely on. I'm living on my own right now. I'm gonna have to like move in with somebody. And it was just a lot of like noise in my head about this degree. I was talking to my uncle about it too. He was like, you're in a perfect place to get another degree like this. Like some people, they get into their 50s and decide to get another degree. But at that point, you're gonna be working for like 10 years and that's it. Whereas me, like I'm only 23 right now. I have all the time in the world, knock on wood. The student loans and all that stuff that comes along with it. Like I have the time, if I really stick it out in this career, I have the time to like make it work. And so that kind of calmed me down a little bit. I've really learned to lean on God this past season, this past year, especially in the uncertain times. In the times where I was like, how am I gonna have gas to get to Texas to go do this cheer competition? How am I gonna have money to buy groceries? Or it was like really stressful, but every single time God came through on his time, not my time. And that was also something I needed to learn. It will work out. Like if you lean on him, and I'm not a preachy person. This is just something that I've really been learning this past year. Like if you lean on him, it will work out when it's supposed to. And so many things, so many stressors that I've had have been dealt with at the perfect time. You know, when it comes to teaching and getting fired and all that stuff, at first I felt like I was being punished. I was complaining so much about my job, and I felt like God was mad at me because I'm not being grateful for the opportunity he gave me. That may be true a little bit. But also, it was a redirection because he knew how much I was unhappy in that position. He knew how mentally ill it was making me, and honestly, physically ill it was making me. And he took me out of it at the right time and put me into something that he knew I was going to enjoy for the time being. That's how I have to think about things now. That mentality has gotten me through a lot of like bad times, like times where I was just like, I don't know what to do. I don't have money for rent. I don't have money for gas. I don't have money for this. But it all ended up working out. You know, I still have my stressors now. It didn't all just go away, but I know now to lean into him in those times and really like practice gratitude when he comes through, and practice gratitude in general. When I was fired from being a teacher, I had to say thank you. At first I was like, okay, well, I feel kind of bad and feel very guilty about getting fired. But at the same time, I came to a point where I was like, thank you for taking me out of that. Yes, it was hard afterwards. I felt much more better mentally. I ended up doing like, you know, small jobs. Like I worked at Nike for a little bit. And though that wasn't paying me as much as being a teacher was, I could go to work and not stress about it. I can go to work, clock out, go home, and not think about work. Whereas when I was a teacher and a coach, I would think about work all of the time. Even on weekends, even on holidays, I'm thinking about work. And it was so mentally draining and so exhausting. And so when he took me out of that situation, it was like, breathe, relax. You don't have to stress about this job right now. And just go throughout my day and not be so angry and so frustrated. And that was the nicest thing, when I could be in a job that did not cause me such anxiety and such stress. And so I had to really be like, not thank you for getting me fired, but like, thank you for taking me out of a situation that you knew was not good for me. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If I look really bright right now, it's because it finally stopped pouring and the sun is back out. I hope you guys really like were able to kind of connect with what I've been up to this past year. I'm very, very excited for this upcoming year and starting my master's. I might be joining a certain team. We shall see. That's still in talks, still in the works. Be expecting master's degree videos. Remember how I was doing the college move-in videos? Remember how I was doing the day in my life during college? That's coming back. We're back and better than ever, okay? So be ready. I will not be, well, hopefully, taking too many hiatuses from YouTube. I'm really excited and honestly kind of giddy about what's coming. Like, I haven't felt this way since the summer going into senior year. Like, I'm back to being Josh. Like, I feel like myself again. I'm just really excited to see what happens next. But as always, again, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below what videos you want to see next. Turn on post notifications so that you see whenever I do post. And follow me on social media. Links will be in the description box down below. Till next time, guys, and I will see you later. Bye.